ACC Tournament second round. SMU, they had Wake Forest on the ropes. They're up 2-0. 20 minutes left in that match, and then Wake Forest comes storming back, forces the PKs, wins in penalties, and eventually goes on to be the ACC Tournament champion as well. And there has not been a repeat champion in the ACC Championship since 2017. Who did it? Well, of course, it was Wake Forest. An early foul going against Wake Forest as Scorsia ended up on the ground, and SMU get a restart and a throw-in. Kyle Johnston is our lead official centrally and falls down on that far side for Wake Forest. SMU getting a little possession as Scorsia as it pops straight up into the air. He chases after it toward the corner, and it's going to settle for him. Trying to figure out a way into a corner as Scorsia, very, very difficult in tight quarters, and he is able to earn one against a double team. Some amazing dribbling by the 5'6" Danny Scorsia.
Yeah, he's a handful in tight quarters, but as you said, he was absolutely pinned up against that corner flag and did very well just to play it off of one of the Demon Deacons and get the corner kick because there was no way out of jail there. SMU
scored early and often on corners last season. That has not been the case this year.
One step back. Thank you.
Kyle Johnston in there talking to the competitors right there above the spot, about 12 yards away from the goal. A lot of jostling. This one put on the ground and given right back to Clanton Pimentel. Runs inside a dummy off to Jalen Mitchell, and it is poked away. Charles-Emile Brunet gets stuck in there, but a lot of speed coming up the near side. And a breakout the other way for Wake Forest. Cooper Flax into the attacking third before he is stopped, and there is a foul on SMU. Meanwhile, back behind the play, there's a man down for the Demon Deacons as well. But there's going to be an early restart for Wake Forest after the transition opportunity following the corner kick.
Yeah, the man who went down behind the play was Jeffrey White, who was taken down by Charles-Emile Brunet, and he got up very slowly and sort of hobbling a little bit. Fortunately for the Demon Deacons, they were the beneficiaries of a whistle on the offensive end, setting up a free kick from a very dangerous spot about 30 yards out.
Deacons more known for their possession. They are a team in the nation that has the second most passes per game to Pitt, but they'll get out in transition if given the opportunity. Here's the chance on the free kick. It's off the wall and drifting out to the near side. Throw in on the way for Wake Forest. Let's take a look at this free kick from up top, taken by the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, blasted into the line and off the side of the head. We see Milton Lopez crouching down, trying to shake that off. Fortunately for the Mustangs, he's able to get right back into the run of play here.
Harvey Sarajan with a great ball, and an early strike from up top is in for Cooper Flax. Flax able to run onto one right at the top of the 18, and he buries it short side beyond Martin Dominguez.
Gorgeous shot by Flax, and Dominguez, I believe, was 100% screened. There were about a half a dozen players between him and Flax, and it's one thing to drill that shot, but to do it off of one-timer, the first strike, you see it go off of Enzo Panozzo out to Flax, and there's a bunch of bodies. That ball is almost past Dominguez before he even flinches. That shot from 17 yards out, just inside the top of the box, and we are 3 minutes into this game, and Flax has put the Deacons ahead.
Outstanding throw-in by Sarajan. That ball drifted right where it needed to for the Demon Deacons to get on the board. They never led at SMU a season ago. But 3 minutes in, they've got the go-ahead goal thanks to Cooper Flax. The 20th goal of his career. His family following every moment of his career, never knowing if this could be his last game. And it could for Wake Forest if they're not able to get past SMU.
Yeah, and that really depends also on what other teams around the country do as far as picking up those last spots. if Wake were to fall tonight. But, hey, we've only got about 81 minutes to go, or 86 minutes to go. Plenty of time.
Wake Forest 7-1-3 this season when scoring first. Cooper Flack's top 20 all-time in the illustrious history of Wake Forest when it comes to goal scoring. Nailing his 20th, his 8th of the season to go along with 7 assists. He's 3rd in the conference in points coming in. Penozo with the throw-in, popped right back toward him. Able to settle it down, but not well enough. It is skimmed out of play for another throw-in for Enzo Penozo. So how does SMU react after being down early? We see how Bobby Muse is reacting very favorably.
You think he liked that a little bit, huh?
I think so.
If you're the Mustangs, you...
Just missing Sagamonian. He gets another opportunity, and this time it's there.
All right, that's how you react.
They react. The 10th of the year for Stefan Sagamonian. He whipped the first time, but not the second. We're level.
Beautiful follow-up by Sagamonian. The first ball comes through to, I believe it was Jalen Mitchell, who took a shot. You see it bound off of a defender, and there's Sagamonian. And of his 10 goals, a lot of them have come from right around that spot, around the penalty kick area. You see him whiff there. There's Mitchell's follow-up shot, and that nice, juicy rebound right to Sagamonian. And we've seen several times this year when he gets the ball around the penalty kick spot, he knows exactly what to do with it. How about this? 5 minutes in, we've already got 2 goals on the board.
This is fun. Is this what soccer's like all the time? I'm a little new. Here's Jalen Mitchell. Look at this speed. He churns up the sideline. Just like all I'm about is show tunes, Stefan Sagamonian, all he's about is scoring goals. 100% of the time, that's all that he cares about. That's what his head coach says. He dreams about it, he eats, sleeps, and breathes it, and he scores another one there. Eli Landsberg, wow, what a cutback. Just past Mitchell, Starnes joining to try to keep it deep, and a great job to get it to go off of Starnes. You see how fired up Harvey Sarajan is as he makes that slide tackle.
Also fired up after that slide tackle was Kevin Hudson, who thought that Sarajan got a little aggressive going through Starnes. Kevin Hudson is not the most animated coach in the world, so when he speaks up, he's got a pretty strong point to make.
Stefan Sagamonian on the board. Assisted by Ryan Clanton Pimentel and Jalen Mitchell officially. For Mitchell and Clanton Pimentel, their 3rd assists each. Quickly up the field. Wake Forest, but turned away by Charles Emile Brunet. Good job getting it out to midfield where Lopez is drilled into the ground by Travis Smith Jr., the junior out of Centennial, Colorado. Spills the Dallas native.
Coaches talk about wanting their defenders to make strong tackles. I don't think that's the kind of tackle that they normally draw up. So you asked a moment ago, how do you respond to an early goal?
Oh, yeah, I asked that.
Obviously, SMU got right back on the board with Sagamonian. So what it does is, I think both teams now take a deep breath, and you're going to play an 85-minute game.
Corner kick coming up.
It's all even.
SMU.
You've still got almost the entire game ahead of you. You go back to what each coach told each team about here's what you want to do on the offensive end, on the defensive end, how you get through transition, etc. And you just basically start the game fresh right now.
The top goal scorers on each team, it's the usual suspects, if you will.
Right.
That got into the act. No surprise there. Doing what they do so well. Cooper Flax, he'll pull the trigger from anywhere. Really, he's spent more time as a defensive midfielder this season than he has as an attacking mid, and leads the nation in offensive numbers for defensive midfielders, if that makes sense. Meanwhile, Step Sagamonian, since he's been inserted into the lineup, doing nothing but scoring goals, and now he'll try the corner kick as well.
And the team's holding team meetings right in front of the net.
Boy, are they? And this will be a foul against SMU, as Starnes did make contact with it, but Mustangs called for the infraction.
And he looked at referee Kyle Johnston and said, hey, I'm the one who ended up on the ground here. But when there's a collision in front of the goal and there were about, 15, 16 players jammed in front of the cage, it's going to go against the offense the vast majority of the time.
SMU better in pressure than is this Wake Forest team. Milton Lopez gets on it, just pops it in toward Jonah Mednard, and Mednard really making the biggest start of his career, Steve. It would be smart of SMU to test him early and often if they can.
Yeah, I mean, he's a terrific goalkeeper, very, very athletic. He can cover a ton of ground from sideline to sideline and getting up into the upper corners. But as you said, this is probably the biggest start of his career. Does he have nerves? If you're the Mustangs, you want to find that out. Does he have, some jitters? Does he bobble a ball and give up a rebound? You want to find that out. So I think you're absolutely right. Look for the Mustangs to pull the trigger often in the early going.
Salvo takes over, finds Jalen Mitchell. SMU with their pressure able to get it away from Wake Forest a couple times here. And Mitchell tripped up, no call. And a goal kick is on the way. Kyle Johnston is going to take a look at it. He says there should not be a foul, but there was a takedown. Now, is that going to be enough to necessitate a penalty kick? This is going to be a huge early review as Amani Thomas. I was really looking forward to this matchup, by the way, Steve. Amani Thomas, Jalen Mitchell, two very athletic outside backs, and they got into it.
They did, and so you're looking at two things. One, was there a takedown? And from the angle we saw, yes, it looked like it. The other question, of course, is where was the contact made? It seems like if you're on the offensive end, it seems like 90% of the fouls are about 6 inches outside the box. And he was very close to the line when that contact was made. So where the officials, if the officials determine a takedown was made, the obvious big question then is where. But, when Jalen Mitchell hit the ground, every single member of the SMU bench was up in arms trying to help Kyle Johnston make that call.
Mitchell gets the step. He's definitely inside the area
when he lands. And where is he when the contact is made?
Yeah, I think he's inside the area when the contact is made too, but we're going to get another look. Okay, yeah, there is some contact beforehand. You're exactly right.
Yeah, I think my guess is there will be a free kick about 18 and a half yards off the goal line here. But obviously, you and I aren't the ones who get to make that call.
After review, nothing. And I thought there might not be, based on the ball getting away from Jalen Mitchell just a little bit there, and then the call on the field originally being that there wasn't a foul at all. SMU will shake their heads about that. Kevin Hudson will stomp around a bit more as well. Sigh, roll his eyes.
And, of course, all the Demon Deacons just sort of shrug and say, of course that was the right non-call.
There's a foul of Bernay. This game has had everything, to quote Stefan. There's been a goal either side. There's been a possible penalty kick with a non-call. SMU is pressing like the Dickens on Menard here. And really, if you're SMU, you've got to love the way the team has responded to the early goal from Cooper Flax. They did not get their dauber down whatsoever.
No, I mean, they didn't hang their heads. They didn't sulk. They didn't pout. I mean, they barely even slowed down.
Could have been a handball on Sagamoni, and it does not get called. He tries to slot it into the middle, some track back, but Lopez is on it, flips it to Sagamonian, unable to settle it, steered back up the middle, and out of trouble by Thomas.
And played back then by Alex Salvo, who's just sort of that calming presence at the back end of the SMU midfield. And every team wants a guy like Alex Salvo. He just is so good at recovering second balls and keeping possession, and he rarely shows up in the stat sheet, and Kevin Hudson wouldn't give him up for anything in the world.
These are two teams that want to keep the ball, Steve, and Wake Forest, at least by the numbers, has been better at it this season. But so far, SMU has had no trouble playing through Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And around them.
It'll be a very interesting sort of battle within the game, the battle of possession, because like you said, both teams prioritize possession as much as just about anybody in the country. And obviously an element of that is efficiency, what you do with the ball when you have it.
Landsberg is able to get some help from Dominguez to steer it wide as Jeffrey White was giving chase. Only twice this season have the Demon Deacons had more passes against them than they had in a given game, and they are second in the nation in average number of passes per contest, well over 500. Only Pitt does it better. SMU is in the top 7% in the country in passes per game. And will be a foul called as Jalen Mitchell goes down. Charles Emile Brunet steering it in his would-be direction just to kind of prove a point, I think.
The problem with that, of course, is if the official doesn't agree, then you're just rolling the ball out of bounds and handing it to your opponent.
So if you're just joining us, missed a couple goals. Brilliant one, bomb from out front. Low and into the left corner by Cooper Flax, the returning All-American for Wake Forest and for the SMU Mustangs. Maybe a future All-American in Stefan Sagamodian, who has turned it on during the second half of the season. He has 10 goals after being able to turn on one inside the area just 5 minutes in. Now that everybody's caught their breath, really get to it.
Gotten something to eat, settled into their seats. Now we can start, right?
The SMU Mustangs were shut out at home for the first time in 3 seasons last time out. They had scored in 44 straight matches before getting shut out at home against Virginia in the regular season closer. Virginia able to get that late goal to win it 1-0. SMU probably feeling like a 0-0 draw was fair. But it's actually the first time in 3 years that SMU had been also shut out in back-to-back matches.
Right.
So they're on the board. Meanwhile, Wake Forest has been a confident scoring team this year, averaging more than 2 goals a game. Going to get a restart from just outside the area. Trying to turn out front. Harvey Sarajan, and he goes down hard. Transfer from Georgia Southern.
And you see Charles Emile Brunet arrives just a second late, and yeah, he went up a little high on Samaji's shin, excuse me. Tried pretty hard to talk your way out of that one. And this gives the Demon Deacons a free kick in a very dangerous spot.
Yeah, very similar spot, just a few yards out from where Flax just scored. And no doubt that Flax is going to be the one taking it. He'll just have a wall in front of him. Meanwhile, Martin Dominguez, like he's staring over a putt down on one knee to get a good look at this. Flax, can he make it an early brace? Here we go. Flax does it again! He is unbelievable! Cooper Flax, the senior captain, meets the moment for the Demon Deacons on 2-1.
I know Martin Dominguez is beating himself up right now, but I don't think you can fault him on either one of these goals. 2 gorgeous shots by Cooper Flax. One into the lower left corner, and this one curling into the upper right corner. Absolutely brilliant shots. Maybe a little closer to the middle of the goal than I thought, but it looked like Dominguez sort of leaned to his right for just half a second and then shifted back to his left. And by that point, it was too late with as much pace as Flax had on that ball. There you see the Flax family telling everyone they know, hey, guess who's got 2 goals tonight?
No, people are calling them to let them know they're on
You're on
ACC
TV
Network
again.
Extra. Let's be real here. Because Cooper Flax has an early brace, goals number 8 and 9 on the season, and the Demon Deacons are back in front in this slugfest. All right, what does this all mean anyway? Well, coming into the matchup, Wake Forest number 43 in the RPI and SMU number 31. Right now, the mythical cutoff line to get into the NCAA tournament as an at-large team is 39 if you just go by the RPI. So Wake Forest on the outside looking in. And on top of that, you're going to have some other seeds poached as well as this ball comes out wide for Jeffrey White. He is onside, catches up to it, and sets up in the attacking third for the Demon Deacons. Here's the bottom line for Wake Forest. This is a must-win. They have got to advance as far as they can in the ACC tournament, keep pulling wins, and keep drawing themselves up in the RPI in order to make their case for an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. If they lose here at SMU, their season in all likelihood is done, and the great careers of several seniors like Cooper Flax for the Demon Deacons. For SMU, I don't think that their seed in the NCAA tournament is secured at all at number 31, but they're in a much better position than Wake Forest is coming in.
Right, and from the Demon Deacons standpoint, it's sort of the positive and negative of playing in the best soccer conference in the country. If they can get wins in this conference tournament, those are wins against excellent teams. The problem with that is you will have the opportunity to face a number of teams that are more than talented enough to turn the tables against you. So it's a very high-risk, high-reward formula for the Demon Deacons to go through the ACC tournament to try to get in and strengthen a seed into the NCAA tournament.
That's how they did it last year. They were going to be on the outside looking in of the NCAA tournament. Instead, they won the whole ACC championship, and in doing so, made the NCAA tournament. And even beyond that, made it all the way to the Elite Eight, proving their medal along the way, and they're trying to do it again tonight to SMU. Cooper Flax trying to put the team on his back. Meanwhile, for the Mustangs, bad whiff, and here comes Jalen Mitchell. Mitchell tripped up, and there is no foul given. And it will be a throw-in for SMU. We'll get a look at it here, and there will not be a replay, not close enough to the 18 to get one. As
I think that's the right non-call.
Travis Smith
slid underneath Jalen Mitchell, but Mitchell sort of stepped over him, and Kyle Johnston, the referee, even put his whistle in his mouth, but then declined to blow it. But on the replay, it looked like maybe there was no contact, in which case, terrific non-call by Johnston.
Here's Enzo Pinozo on the throw-in to the top of the 18. Header down and deflected. Who's it off of? Last touched by SMU. Milton Lopez was the last one ruled to have hit it after Charles Emile Brunet kept it deep. Goal kick for Wake Forest.
Yeah, a lot of urgency, obviously, as see Mednard banging his heel off of one of those posts that obviously has a microphone very close to it.
Mednard out of Congress, New York, in his third season as part of the program at Wake Forest, a first-year starter. Had a little bit of playing time last year. Now the full-time starter this year. He's started every match this year. Goals against average of 134. He's had to face a lot of shots. In fact, he's had to make the fourth most saves in the conference. 49 coming in. Throw in for SMU. For whatever reason, Wake Forest has been giving up shots on goal this season. The other side, SMU is having to make less than 2 saves per game as a team because they just don't give up much on frame. Not the case for Wake Forest. Sagamonian trying to move it along, but ends up dumping it right to the middle to Tate Lorenz. He's able to pick it off, start something the other way, and a great opportunity here. Slade Starnes, though, gets the slide tackle in and makes contact with the ball first to prevent a one-on-one opportunity for the striker, Sarajan.
And this time it was the Wake Forest bench where every player rose up off the bench to try to help make the call that did not come.
It seemed like there was some room between the body and the ball was gotten first, but this is going to tell the tale. Ooh, that was a lot closer than I thought, Steve.
It was. You see Slade Starnes come in, and from that angle, we couldn't quite see the contact between the ball and the foot. But you're right, it was awfully close.
Slade Starnes hits the top of the ball rather than the bottom of it, and it kind of made all the difference in the timing of it. As he hits the top of the ball, he's also striking Sarajan at the same time. SMU in transition. Sagamonian trying to turn one inside, and it's sharply steered away. I have a feeling the way this game has been open that we are not done with the goal scoring tonight.
I think you may be onto something, and quite honestly, if it gets into a track meet up and down the field, that probably favors Wake Forest a little bit. But again, both of these teams covet possession of the ball above anything other than the actual goals themselves. So, but you're right, I agree with you. The way this game is being played,
Oh my goodness, what a ball! And great job by Jalen Mitchell to put a head on it, nearly bounce it past Jonah Bednard, who was going down. He's able to make the save, and then the shot into the side netting.
that was almost the second time that I was going to talk over one of your goal calls tonight.
They're not my calls. Nobody
Our
owns
calls.
a goal call. Stefan Sagamonian trying to get back on it, and Jonah Bednard back in there to make another save. That is his 50th of the season as he turns it away, and a key one at that.
A key one at that, and from almost point-blank range, too. Sagamonian striking that ball with his left foot from just a few feet out in front.
What's making this game so wide open right now, Steve?
Well, both teams are trying to do a lot of one- and two-touch passing rather than, I mean, we've seen the wingbacks like Jalen Mitchell trying to take some guys on 1v1, and we saw Sarajan do it on the other end as well for Wake. But for the most part, it looks like both teams are really trying to let the ball do the work, let the ball do all the movement, make your opponents chase. And when it works, you know, it's a fast break in basketball, and it looks beautiful. And when it doesn't, sometimes you find yourself chasing back to the other end of the field to play defense in a hurry.
That one's out of play and simply off of Brunet. Throw in for the number 10 seed in Wake Forest. Again, that is Jonah Bednard trying to, yes, work out a little mud off his cleats or something. There's just a lot of space out there tonight for whatever reason. SMU's Jalen Mitchell loves that. He's one of the top players in the nation, 11th best in that number called expected threat. It's how he changes the pitch, both based on his dribbling and his passes as well. Lopez's cross is knocked right back at him and out of play. Be a throw in for SMU as it goes off of Mason Sullivan, who is in at left center back tonight in place of Daniel Kruger.
Sullivan was also lobbying for a Wake Forest throw. He was contending that he had not only knocked the ball away, but done so by banging it off of Lopez, but was overruled on that.
Throw in, sharply headed out. SMU's able to keep it though. Pinozo out against the sideline, whips it up top. He left Landsberg, serves it in. Slade Starnes, header to the near post, chased out of bounds. Slade Starnes, one of the best players in the nation at winning balls in the air.
He really is. Big number 5, the SMU center back. Obviously, he's tall, which is a nice place to start. He's about 6'3", but he jumps very well, and he's very decisive, very bold going up in the air. And he can really climb the ladder and go up even over taller players who are taller than he is, and wins an awful lot of 50-50 balls. In that case, he was head and shoulders above the defender.
118 air duels won this season for Slade Starnes, who is trying to win another one. He's 6th in the nation in that number. And it's amazing that he hasn't been down more often this season with the amount of times that he has to go head-to-head with players like he did with Harvey Sarajan right there.
Yeah, he and Sarajan, both big, strong players. And obviously nothing intentional by either one of them, but Sarajan's head came backward and hit Starnes. There you see Sarajan able to shake it off for the Demon Deacons. But it's a little better when it's the back of your head. Starnes caught one. We don't know if it was in the nose or around the eye. Obviously, if you're SMU, you are hoping beyond hope that your captain, your center back, is able to shake this off.
Slade Starnes has played nearly every minute this season for SMU. Started all 15 games at the center back spot. A guy that's from the Dallas area, went to Lone Star High School in Frisco, and was part of the FC Dallas Academy growing up. Then played at Furman for 3 years. Headed back to Dallas, transferring in to play for SMU, and he has been a wonder for the Mustangs. And I think he's the kind of guy that if SMU somehow is able to make a deep run into the NCAA tournament this season, he'll get some All-American attention this year. He's been that good.
I would think you're right. And everyone who wears red and blue is breathing a bit of a sigh of relief there to see Starnes up and on his feet, having a drink of water. And looks like hopefully he'll be able to shake that off. But I think you're absolutely right. He is a rock-solid defender. Positionally, tactically, he sees the game very well. We've talked about what a weapon he is in the air, both on defense when he's clearing balls out when the opposition has set pieces, and he goes up and he becomes a target on offense on set pieces as well. I think he's he plays a style that is easy to overlook, but you notice it a lot if he's not on the field.
He's 15th in the nation in recoveries this season, and for a team in SMU that possesses the ball a lot more than their opponent, and there are not as many opportunities for recoveries as some teams out there, that is a number that jumps out at you. And then the air duels won as well, being top 10 there. If you're looking for a metric that tells you how good a center back is, I think that's one for Slade Starnes.
The best sight, if you're the Mustangs, is number 5 standing at the side of the field, getting ready to go back in as soon as he's waved back in by the officials.
So Wake Forest up 2-1. It's an early goal, just 3 minutes in. As the ball fell to the feet of the best player on the field from distance as far as shooting goes, Cooper Flax, as he buries one from about 19 yards out inside the near post. See, Vlad Lent is in. Good job by the Demon Deacons to take the ball away and start something the other way as their second unit has come out onto the field. They're not able to connect the pass, though. The near side to Chandler Young. After that, just 2 minutes later, Stefan Sagamonian got on the board for the 10th time this season on a ball inside the box that he was able to turn on. But on a free kick, about 23 yards out on the left side, Cooper Flax got his brace early in this match as he was able to beat Martin Dominguez, getting him leaning the wrong way on that free kick to put Wake Forest up 2-1. And here's Ryan Clanton-Pimentel with excellent speed up the wing. Trying to figure out a way to cross it in. Instead, he'll earn a corner kick for SMU. Clanton-Pimentel, since joining the lineup, has made SMU an even more dangerous team at the width, if that was even possible.
And I think he's going to be really important in this game tonight as the Mustangs try to get the equalizer, because Wake Forest, like so many other teams that play SMU, they build a significant portion of their defensive game plan around Jalen Mitchell on the opposite side, and with good reason. Mitchell is an absolute handful who causes headaches for all kinds of defenses. But if Clanton-Pimentel can present a similar threat on the opposite side, well, that forces defenses to play a little more honestly and spread out across both sides of the field, which not only creates chances up and down both flanks, but opens up a little space in the middle of the field as well.
Escorcia relocates it to Clanton Pimentel, whips it in. Makisa Emanuel tried to heel flick it on. Elad Landsberg with some secondary service. Headed back out by the 6'5" center back Sullivan. A lot of contact. Foul on Brunet. Goes back over to the Demon Deacons, who survived the set piece.
Brunet suggesting that Bassett Umar came over the top of him and that the whistle should have been blown the other way.
SMU out shooting Wake Forest 6-3. 2 shots on goal for both sides. Wake Forest taking advantage of their opportunities. They have been deadly. Specifically, it's been Cooper Flax that has been so deadly. Quick throw in, a restart for Wake Forest. See Flax with the captain's armband centrally, kind of lurking, ready to be a factor again in this match. He had a hat trick earlier this season against Liberty. He already has 2 goals, and he had them in the first 15 minutes of this match. Demon Deacons love the depth on this team, and the young depth at that. As the ball is taken away here. Renee out to Mitchell. But talking to Coach Muse, he loves that his team is deep with guys that have a real future at Wake Forest. And yeah, you want the season to continue for guys like Cooper Flax, but I think just as much you want the season to continue so you get more training opportunities for some of these dudes that will be stars in years to come for the Demon Deacons.
Absolutely. Part of the job of every coach in the country is, you know, roster construction, and that's not just going out and bringing in 25 seniors. That's planning for this year and for years ahead. And yes, the Demon Deacons have loads of talent. And if you're Coach Muse and the Wake Forest staff, exactly what you said, part of the excitement is that a lot of that talent is in the freshman and sophomore classes. This team is really good and going to be good for years to come.
Jalen Mitchell gets pulled back, and he didn't want to play on. Said, I'll take the foul, thank you. 15 minutes remaining in the opening half. No cards distributed as of yet. Both these teams doing a nice job of getting through the regular season without anybody attaining that magical 5th. May have our first card, Steve. Let's see. Well, see that SMU head coach Kevin Hudson is incredibly heated right now. About as heated as you're going to see him.
And you said at the beginning of the game that one of the interesting subplots in this game would be Amani Thomas against Jalen Mitchell, that matchup. And through the first 30 minutes, it's been terrific. And I thought it was a really nice job by referee Kyle Johnston to pull those 2 guys over together and deliver a message and try to keep control of the game. It's been a little bit physical between the 2 of them in the last several minutes. You can get a message across, get it across to them equally at the same time without resorting to cards. Yes, you have the cards as an option, but as an official, you'd love to keep control without needing them.
Oh my, Mitchell deflected. Mookie Emanuel short-sided, stopped and out of play. And it will be a corner for SMU. Jonah Bednard fired up after this save.
Nice job by Mitchell splitting a couple of defenders, and then Emanuel dropping it from his chest and picking it out of midair with his left-footed strike.
Bednard didn't even have to make the stop. It was Mason Sullivan. Wow, got in there.
Yeah, Sullivan filling in that center back spot has looked really good in the first 30 minutes.
Sagamonian, nice strike, poked out, but right at the feet of Escorcia, trying to turn the corner and put it into service and earn another corner. He can't quite do it, it stays in. Look at the twirl, inside, it's sharply steered away by
Twirl is the perfect word there. There are very few players in college soccer who can back up, get their back up against a defender and spin around that defender while keeping the ball in very close possession like Danny Escorcia. He is an absolute whirling dervish and drives defenders nuts. Nice job by the Wake defense staying with him and knocking off that, blocking down that pass.
Brunet, too strong. Charles Emile Brunet looking for the strike from distance, perhaps seeing a space in the upper 90 far side that Bednard was not going to be able to reach, and the Canadian youngster went for it.
I think that's exactly right. Bednard was really sort of shaded over to the right goalpost, and you're right, there was some space in that upper left corner, and Brunet's eyes got a little bit big as he pulled the trigger.
2-1. Wake Forest leads on a couple Cooper Flax goals. Another foul. Jalen Mitchell creates. Basit Umar, who had been a starter all season, as the clock will be stopped here. Do a little talking to Umar. See, where's the captain's armband, and he is in to take a yellow card. Umar just in off the bench. He didn't start in this game. Joel Torvik, who had been playing so well, started in the midfield, and this is worthy of a yellow, evidently.
You see the look on his face there, and a moment ago he was talking to Kyle Johnson, the referee, with very much a "what did I do" look on his face. But the camera doesn't lie.
Umar, the transfer from Dayton, his second year with Wake Forest. Only a full-time starter last year and a full-time starter this year, and only coming off the bench for his second game this season. So Brunet on the restart for SMU. Brunet right at Bednard. And Bednard able to handle it. And again, the Mustangs obviously want to test Bednard as much as possible tonight and force him to make decisions, make him uncomfortable as the night goes on. Man down for SMU, it's Mookie Emmanuel.
Yeah, he took a shot in the back from Jose Perez.
And as a foul goes on Wake Forest here, it'll give us a chance to see about Emmanuel and that tailbone area.
Yeah, the way Emmanuel's knees sort of buckled, it looked pretty legit. I don't know how hard the contact was, but anytime you take one, as you said, in the tailbone or the lower back.
That's big Mason Sullivan again, 6'5", 200 pounds. And evidently a bony knee.
Evidently, yes.
11 minutes left in the half as Landsberg gets brave, breaking lines. Brunet out wide left. Little different look. Scorsia, the one-touch back to Brunet, trying to turn the corner, and earns another corner kick for SMU. So for the Mustangs, it's going to be corner kick number 6. None so far for Wake Forest.
Yeah, and that's, as we've talked about on many broadcasts, that's a statistic that a lot of coaches look at as a indicator of time of possession and how much time is spent in front of one goal versus the other. 6-0 is higher than it feels, but I think certainly the Mustangs have had the ball in Wake's end more than the other way around.
Sagamonian, great ball again, but punched away, kept in by Brunet, and kicked into clearance near side for a throw-in. So from the near side, it's been Sagamonian trying to go right in to the 6. From the far side, when it's been a corner kick, SMU has tried to put a play on. Meanwhile, Landsberg looking to flip this down low. It's going to stay in. Scorsia backing it up. Scorsia able to win that second ball this time. Mitchell out wide. Finds a Scorsia in short space. Quickly into Emmanuel. A race to the ball on the end line, and the last man to touch it was the Wake Forest defender, as Travis Smith gives SMU their 7th corner of the first half.
Demon Deacons have done a really nice job on the defensive end. Obviously turning shots away, but also adjusting to the changing looks that the Mustangs have thrown at them. But if they keep giving up corners at this rate, that's going to be a lot of tests for Bednard.
Sagamonian, too strong on that one. And one thing to think about is, and it's been amazing to think about, SMU has not scored directly off a corner all season, which is amazing to consider.
That's a really remarkable nugget. Yeah.
When you remember how good they were last season in converting corner kicks and free kicks into goals. They haven't done it this year. It's been in the run of play that they have scored.
Right, and traditionally they're always good on set pieces and corners. And you're right, it's an absolute outlier, and it's remarkable that they haven't converted at least one as we enter the postseason tonight.
8 minutes left here in the first half. Cooper Flax has happened twice for Wake Forest, both times within the first 15 minutes. He's got 2 go-ahead goals in this game. There he is. Both of them from distance. Absolute beauties. One to the near post, one to the far. And for SMU, Stefan Sakamonian, their leading scorer, has the goal. 8 minutes left in the half as Jalen Mitchell looks to turn the corner. Has it sniped away. And there's no question that SMU has had the better spate of possession against a team that really likes to possess the ball. And that could be a problem as the night goes on for Wake Forest. You know, their defense doesn't normally have to play quite as much as they've had to play so far in this match because SMU's just had it so much.
Right, and when you play the Mustangs, you deal with a number of different things, one of which is SMU's got a lot of guys who, in addition to top-end speed, are just very, very quick. They can start and stop in a hurry and change directions in a hurry, whether it's a Mitchell or a Clanton Pimentel or a Brunet. And so you've seen some of the Wake Forest defenders grabbing a fistful of jersey or grabbing a shoulder to try to slow these guys down. And there's only been 1 yellow card so far, but those infractions, if they keep getting caught, can start piling up into some dangerous situations.
It's the ACC Championship opening round. First round action. These two teams met in the second round last year. Wake Forest, the lower seeded team, came in, forced overtime and then penalties and advanced on the penalties. SMU beat Boston College in the opening round a season ago, 1-0. Wake Forest really had to go the long way on the road. Oh, bad giveaway. Maybe a chance here for Chandler Young, and a drive to the far post. Again, Flax looking for that hat trick, and it's steered away for a corner by Martin Dominguez. But a bad giveaway for SMU nearly turns into a hattie for Cooper Flax.
And Bobby Muse is beside himself that Alex Salvo didn't get called for a takedown there.
Well, do you want the takedown, or do you want the chance for Cooper Flax during the run of play? Because it was going to be one or the other, right?
Well, it depends. If the shot goes in, then it was a good non-call.
Exactly.
If the shot goes wide, then you can pull your hair out and say, why wasn't there a whistle blown?
Well, it's Flax on the corner this time. Great ball. But it is headed away. Like Emmanuel was the one to get on it for SMU. At least he was in the area. A little possession for the Demon Deacons. Their first quite a while in the attacking portion of the field. In the width, Jose Perez Jr. down low, and Slade Starnes is able to kick it away. Is it going to be a corner? Yes, it is. So that ball drifts out. There's almost no wind tonight. Gorgeous evening, about 75 degrees, but zero wind to speak of.
Yeah, I'll take this weather for every game we ever call.
Yeah.
This is pretty perfect.
Again, it's going to be Cooper Flax. This time to the left of the keeper, Dominguez. Out-swinging motion from the right footer. A little bit more straight. The header is down, and then right at Dominguez, the shot. He makes his first save. So he was flying in. It was Travis Smith Jr. Got the head on it, but not much pace to it.
No, but flying in is right. He was head and shoulders above both Landsberg and Mookie Emmanuel.
4 minutes left in the first half. SMU has outshot Wake Forest 8-5. They've had 7 corners to the 2 for Wake Forest. Down 2-1 though. Mookie Emmanuel, good hold-up player. It's right back to Escorcia. Out wide, Clinton Pimentel. Trying to get around the defender. Can't do it. Now Flax gets rid of it. Straight into the air. Headed down by Starnes. But the holding midfielder Perez is on it. Taken away by Escorcia. Trying to connect inside with Emmanuel again. Good job to take it away by Wake Forest. Try to turn the tide. Very dangerous player in Vlad Walent. Walent straight up the middle. Instead, going after goal, and Slade Starnes with some excellent foot-eye coordination.
I was wondering if that's where you were
that one away.
This is beautiful. Starnes comes sailing across, and you're absolutely right. Throws his leg up. And to pick this shot out of midair like that, gorgeous defending by Slade Starnes.
Lent on the throw. And nearly on mark there. Straight up into the air again. It's Travis Smith. And Dominguez is there to secure it with 2.5 left in the opening half. Reminder, last year, SMU led 2-0 late in the match against Wake Forest, late in regulation. And the Demon Deacons started their road back as Cooper Flax was able to score on a free kick from 25 yards out, well, just like he did in the first half here. Also, Ryan Bilal got a dunk right at the front of the goal. 3 minutes later to send it to overtime. After 2 OTs, we went to penalties, and Wake Forest came out on top, all over the top in the direction of Sangamonian. Well, too much underneath it for Charles-Emile Brunet with 1.5 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah, that was clearly not a shot. He was trying to link up with a teammate racing through the box, and like you said, just pulled out the pitching wedge and got too far underneath it and floated it too far.
Jonah Mednard has made 1 save tonight. Starnes wins this header opportunity. Second ball won by the Demon Deacons. Great ball forward in the direction of Chandler Young, trying to race after it. But Pinozo and Salvo eliminate his chance. But Young right back on it at the top of the 18, pulls it back to himself, trying to turn the corner, and it is a play on. Pinozo able to get stuck in there on the tackle with no call. And you know Wake Forest absolutely hates it. Now SMU getting out on the counter. Sangamonian out front, trips over the ball. And Sangamonian called for the trip here.
You said it a moment ago, the Demon Deacons hate this, and Bobby Muse is livid.
Sangamonian's first yellow card this season. Now a stoppage, and we may be seeing a review of what happened in the box a moment ago to see whether, this is going to be of the Pinozo play against Chandler Young inside the box that at best looked controversial. And we'll see if the initial thought by Kyle Johnston, which was no call, continues. But still, Coach Muse is going to pick up a caution in his direction as well. Tempers are flaring.
I certainly understand Bobby Muse's frustration with the lack of a call against Pinozo in the box, but at the same time, his reaction, I mean, he was irate when it happened. He was wearing out the officials all the way to the other end of the field. And then after the whistle against Sangamonian that brought his yellow card, Coach Muse was still upset.
So here's the play. There, no ball there, but I think the thought initially for Johnston was that really the contact by Pinozo did not cause Chandler Young to go down.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so Pinozzo gets onto it. It gets touched away by Flax. There is contact, to be sure. But there you saw the tug on the jersey, but then there was still another, do we call it a soccer move after that, where clearly he had kept his balance and was able to restart his motion forward.
All right, after the review, nothing more. They're going to stay with the call on the field. Controversial for sure. No doubt about it. Because Wake Forest with a chance, if a penalty is called there, to go up 3-1.
But
Stefan Sagamonian got a card. Coach Muse got a card. That's his 4th caution this season, by the way.
Right, and Bobby Muse just did exactly the right thing, saying, all right, they made a call we don't agree with, fine. We got 23 seconds to go. He pushed everybody forward. He wants the Demon Deacons to try to get into the offensive third and get a shot at one more goal before the intermission.
Wake Forest trying to be that team again. This just gets driven away.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Muse drew the yellow. He didn't agree, obviously, but just like you ask goalies to forget and move on when giving up a goal, he forgot and moved on and directed his team forward. Absolutely the right reaction and response by Coach Muse.
So the Demon Deacons, the defending champs in the ACC Championship. Great NCAA tournament appearances overall for Wake Forest. And if they're going to make it 15, it starts tonight with an upset of the SMU Mustangs. They're in a position to do so, up 2-1 as we head to the second half. Great to have you with us on the ACC Network Extra tonight. So Steve, as we tiptoe our way into the second half of action here, if you're Wake Forest, you're up 2-1. What are you thinking? Because you gave up some chances in the first half from SMU.
You did. I think if you're Wake Forest, you feel good, obviously, because you're leading. But my guess is that Coach Muse and his staff addressed some of those opportunities given up, especially on the flanks to Jalen Mitchell and Ryan Clanton-Pimentel. And when those two guys get going up and down the sidelines for SMU, that stretches out the Wake defense, and that created some space in the middle for guys like Escorcia and Brunet, and obviously Sagamonian, who scored the Mustangs goal. So I think overall you're pleased with the way your team played if you're the Wake Forest coaches, but you just want to tighten things up in the back end and try to eliminate those chances.
Meanwhile, for the SMU Mustangs, it's off a couple set pieces, one a throw in and then one a true set piece that Wake Forest has done yet. And it's not that the Demon Deacons don't have other people that can beat you, but certainly you've got to keep the ball out of the feet of Cooper Flax in the second half somehow, right?
Yeah, you do. I mean, he has shown, he has a lot of the possession in the middle third, but it's not like he's been firing shots from all over the place on the offensive end. But he's taken two pretty good shots that have found their way into the back of the net. So, yeah, you cover Cooper Flag every inch of the field on both ends.
Ball out to the top, dropped on the ground. Brunet to the right side. Mitchell chips it in the air. Starnes moves it along. Starnes along the ground, and a great stab by Jonah Bednard. He didn't know when that shot was going to come, and he nearly got surprised. But he leaps to this Slade Starnes slice.
Beautiful job by Bednard, because I think he was screened for half a second. But you're absolutely right. He knew that shot was coming, whether it's from Starnes or Emmanuel or anybody else. He knew it was coming. He was crouched pretty low to the ground anyway. He was ready for it, and he picked it up when it was halfway through to him and laid out and swallowed it up.
Emmanuel is on, tries to throw it across. Jalen Mitchell just a little bit late joining. By the way, Steph Sagamonian starts the second half on the bench. The strikers are Lopez and Emmanuel. The serve in by Mitchell to the back post. Headed away. SMU still in possession, though, as Pinozzo joins along the right flank. Mustangs looking perhaps another corner. They have 7 of them in this game. But Pinozzo will go on the serve, floats it out top. On the volley, it's deflected away and out. Brunei able to pick that out of the air quite deftly.
Yeah, those are so difficult to do because coming out of midair like that, if you mishit the ball by even a fraction of an inch, it'll go way wide or high. And Brunei struck that beautifully, and fortunately for the Mustangs, banged it off of one of the Demon Deacons, or maybe even two on the way out of bounds, setting up this corner kick.
Again, a very busy Kyle Johnston. Having to stop things inside, bring the boys together. And it got a little bit heated between Wake Forest and SMU during the tournament last season as well.
Yeah, these are two very similar teams in terms of style, in terms of talent. The schools are similar, the students are similar. There's a lot of overlap between these two. And look, they're both really talented and both certainly have the talent to win this game or to go on. So yeah, it's going to be heated.
Comes in short. Kept along the ground. Scorsia back out wide. Brunei wants to serve it in. Headed back out and up the field, and an opportunity for a very quick player in Vlad Walent. And Walent, the last to touch it. Series history, it's the third meeting all time. They have all taken place within the last year. SMU leads 1-0-1. Of course, the advancement by Wake Forest last season in the second round of the ACC Championship. Not technically a win for Wake Forest, but a tie, and then advancing on the penalties. On the stoppage here, the Walent call for the foul. Not a long series history between the two, but they have gotten very used to playing very spirited games against one another.
You play in the best soccer conference in the country, you've got a lot of teams capable of winning, and all that's going to do is drive up the urgency and intensity in a lot of these games, and SMU Wake Forest is no different.
Job by Wake Forest, trying to get out of their own end, but here comes Mookie Emmanuel. He's able to get the deflection. The keeper is down. SMU takes it away. Does Brunei see it? And play is stopped with the keeper down on the play, and it may have been that Emmanuel was offside during a pass. I think that's why play was stopped and not because of a potential injury. Let's see.
Yeah, and Mookie Emmanuel does absolutely nothing wrong here. He's alert, he cuts behind a defender, and he is inches away from deflecting this ball back into the Wake Forest net. Demon Deacons very fortunate to not be looking at an equal scoreboard. And you certainly don't blame Mednard. He made a heck of a play just to keep it out.
And it wasn't offside against SMU in this case. So the Bluebirds were coming down from the SMU side. It's because they thought play was being stopped because of Mednard's
Absolutely,
injury.
absolutely.
But Emmanuel was well offside when the ball was taken away by Mitchell, and he passed it along to Brunei while Emmanuel's offside. So Wake Forest has not had a lot of the ball tonight, at least not according to their liking. A team that averages more than 500 passes a game. Not on that kind of pace tonight. Lopez goes down. Wake Forest bench doesn't like that he may have sold a call there 6 minutes into the second half. Lopez, a guy that always wanted to play for SMU, he says, and Dallas kid playing in his 50th all-time match here with the Mustangs. That one ricochets right off the head of a Deacon, and I believe that's Christian Escribano that goes down hard. He just was not expecting that one to come in.
And he wasn't expecting it because it gets deflected off the left foot of Joel Torbic. And just that slight direction change Looks like it caught him right in the mug. And
Oh, no, it is. Pardon me, it is Flax. 19 and 18 obviously look very similar, and they both wear the captain's armband, so it was Flax rather than Escobedo. My apologies.
And you see Bobby Muse coming out to check on his captain. And fortunately, you see Cooper Flax there giving a little thumbs up and a little shrug, as if to say, yeah, it stung me for a second, but I'm good to go. And for the Demon Deacons, that is obviously a hugely welcome sight.
Now, one of the things that you can think about in this case is, and probably what they're telling Cooper is, you can come out of the game here and still re-enter because of injury, because of head injury concerns and the like. You know, your night's not done like it normally would be if you were to get lifted from a game in the second half. So you can choose to come out for even 30 seconds or a minute, I mean, and just make sure everything's okay. And so going through all the options with athletic trainer Michael White right now.
Yeah, and based on everything we know about Cooper Flax, my guess is he's not very into the idea of coming out of the game, whether it's for 30 seconds or 30 minutes or anything else. He is going to come to the sideline, but I think we both would be surprised if this wasn't for more than just a few seconds. Bobby Muse comes over and checks on him. And if Bobby Muse is comfortable with the idea that Flax is okay, it looks like he will sub out at least briefly.
And they are going to sub a player on. Here's the cross by SMU's Clanton Pimentel right in the direction of Jalen Mitchell. Back to play, and Flax not on the field. Lopez turns inside, falls down, gets right back up. Play kept alive, and then taken out into space. Coming into the match is David Nguema. Nguema coming on for Wake Forest here, at least for now. Brunet on the way to the goal, leans into one, and Bednard stops it short side.
You see Brunet getting the cross, and at the beginning of the game we talked about Jonah Bednard and about how among his many attributes is his quickness, and several times tonight he has shot off the line to erase crossing passes and corner kicks, and on that one he only had to take a few steps forward, but he accelerates so quickly that he really just takes a lot of that airspace out of play, as he did on that cross by Brunet.
So again, Nguema coming on for Cooper Flax for injury, so Flax will be allowed to re-enter the game if he's fit to do so. Flax has the 2 goals for Wake Forest tonight. Trying to keep the lead. They've not lost this season when leading at the half, 6-0-2. Quick move and a turn by Young, centers it in front. Steered away by Slade Starnes. Escorcia on the pivot trying to get rid of it, but taken away by Nguema. The SMU goal coming in the 5th minute from Step Sagamonian. He's not in the match right now. It's a rematch of the second round in the ACC Championship a season ago. A 2-2 draw, and Wake Forest advancing on penalties. Now, SMU this season, when trailing at the half, they do have 2 wins. They came back to beat LMU 3-1 after trailing 1-0 at the half. And they also trailed Boston College 1-0. Came back to win 3-2. In a game where BC eventually went down to 10 men, and Stephen Sangamonian had his second hat trick of the season. And this is a must-win for Wake Forest. Their RPI being what it is at 43. For SMU, they would love to have a win tonight. They could still make the NCAA tournament as an at-large team, even with a loss. But it would not be a sure thing. And certainly on selection day, they would be waiting with bated breath. One touch along to Escorcia. Escorcia throws on the brakes, tries to throw it back to Clinton Pimentel, and it's steered away. Nice feet by Escribano, Cristian Escribano, a local guy, actually Spain-born, but grew up in Frisco, which is just about 30 minutes to the north. And among the schools he chose Wake Forest over was SMU.
North Texas to recruit players. It used to be that SMU got its pick of almost every player in Texas, but the secret's out. This is a very, very fertile recruiting area, and coaches from everywhere descend upon North Texas.
Chandler Young called for the foul here. Kevin Hudson's done a great job recruiting, not only here in North Texas, but around the world as well these days. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Not a time for SMU to try to make the comeback. But last 40 minutes of this match have been scoreless after their 3 goals in the first 15 minutes of the match. SMU has a super sub they'll bring in at some point, and Steph Sangamonian, after they get him enough rest. The substitution rules being what they are in men's college soccer these days, you've got to be smart about those substitutions in the second half.
The Mustangs have had sort of an embarrassment of riches at striker this year, and to be able to bring a guy with 10 goals off the bench in the second half seems almost unfair, but it's been a nice rotation that Kevin Hudson and his staff have been able to employ.
Mitchell in front, Milton Lopez knocks it down, it's blocked away! Lopez had a chance to pick his spot, but laying down, I believe it was Mason Sullivan who got it.
It was, and Mason Sullivan has made a number of really, really nice plays on the back end. Again, he's in the lineup as a replacement tonight, and he's acquitted himself more than well. He's been a terrific addition on the back end, not just because of the added size that he brings.
Foul on SMU. Mason Sullivan getting the start tonight for Daniel Kruger. And able to block his second shot of the evening. This time blocking Milton Lopez in short space. Wake Forest in a dangerous position. Perez moves it out wide. Stepping in, marching over the ball, and losing it out. Demon Deacons over the end line for a goal kick. Landsberg holding up as we look back at a would-be shot kicked away.
Yeah, Milton Lopez took the shot with his right. If he had flipped it over to his left, he might have been able to get it on frame. But Mason Sullivan charged out at Lopez, and his goal at that point is just to be as big as possible. And it helps when you're 6'5".
Little hold up by the Deacons. Back into possession, and they haven't had a ton of it tonight. They are certainly capable of passing around and through you. Mason Sullivan joining with Valent up this left side. 18-year-old midfielder, and Gemma wearing number 8, trying to get the switch, and he does.
Really a lot of patience now by the Demon Deacons. Not that they're not going to try to press forward and create chances. They are. But when you're sitting on a 2-1 lead, there's no reason to force the issue.
Pinozo with the slide tackle to take it away from Torvik, and then Torvik tears from behind on Pinozo. No card given, but certainly a foul.
Did he get 2 fistful of jersey here? They're wrestling for space. You see the slide by Pinozo. He gets up, takes off.
Definitely got a right hand. Stuck out the left as well.
And as big as Enzo Pinozzo is, as strong as he is, that's an awfully strong tug if you're able to pull him down with his jersey.
Good hustle to steer it away for a throw instead of a corner.
Ready, boys!
Jalen Mitchell, one of the more dangerous wingbacks in this league. Oki Emmanuel go out to take the throw for SMU with 30 minutes left. SMU's score came off of a throw-in by Enzo Pinozzo. Settling down in the box. Sagamonian missing on the first. Jalen Mitchell getting a shot blocked, and then Sagamonian able to follow it up and fire it past Bednard. Mustangs trying to equalize the game for the second time tonight. Throw in, a little bit shallow. It's out to Emmanuel. Right down the line. Plays it out in front, and it is quickly snipped away by Wake Forest.
Nice job by the Demon Deacons to not just clear it out, but to play it somewhere where there wasn't a red jersey within shouting distance, and therefore able to punch it back in and continue the offensive threat for SMU. Really nice defensive work by Wake Forest.
Landon Pimentel on the switch. Gets it in. The header away by Sullivan. Ball nearly falls down to Salvo. SMU wanted a handball. None comes. Now the Demon Deacons look for some space, and they've got it. Right up the center of the field. The ball outright. And trying to turn. Throw it in. It is just past the on-rushing Vlad Wallet on a good cross from Chandler Young. A bouncing ball, and he just missed it. Could have easily made it 3-1.
Yeah, it was a beautiful cross by Chandler Young, spinning away from Slade Starnes. I didn't think he was going to be able to torque it back at that much of an angle, and he dropped it right in Walent's lap, and Walent would love to have another shot at that one, because you're right, he was in a perfect position to try to double this margin.
And Gemma churning up space, looking to get the switch, but Landsberg is there to deny. Salvo right back up the middle, and SMU looking for a rush of their own, a 3-on-4. The dangerous Jalen Mitchell going centrally, trying to slot that ball in, and on the through ball attempt, Mason Sullivan is there again. He has been the defensive MVP this evening for the Demon Deacons.
He really has, but also I think you have to credit the Wake coaching staff and the defensive structure they put together tonight, because you called it perfectly. Jalen Mitchell was trying to create a rush when it was 3-on-4. And so he was trying to create a rush when the Mustangs didn't have an advantage in numbers.
And Gemma is going to be shown a yellow. And it was a long time between the stoppage, the talk, the captain coming over,
and a couple lawyers standing up for him.
And Gemma, let's see what happened between Escorcian and Gemma. Oh my goodness. I think maybe he's saying, I mean, that's dangerously close to a straight red, and you're probably not going to do that in tournament play, but goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, that was virtually a chokehold, and part of that is because Nguema is 6'3" and Escorcia is 5'6". I'm not going to sit here and suggest that Nguema was trying to, strangle Escorcia on his way down to the ground, but the fact is that's shoulder height for Nguema, and if you get an arm around a guy, there's the neck. Against a taller player, that might have been around the rib cage, which we see it countless times in every game.
Here's the restart for SMU. Clinton Pimentel runs over it. Brunet curling it in. Headline Enzo Pinozzo! And SMU ties it up at 2. A season of frustration on set pieces, and the Mustangs deliver with 27 minutes to play.
Kevin Hudson has said since the start of this year that Enzo Pinozzo might be the best athlete on the team. And look at him climb the ladder. He's about 2 feet above every Wake Forest defender. Either he was going to get it or nobody was going to get it. And for Enzo Pinozzo, shot of a lifetime, climbing the ladder, getting the equalizing goal in the first round of the ACC Championship. Gorgeous goal off of a beautiful serve by Charles-Emile Brunet.
Pinozzo's first goal of the season. His other goal came in the regular season last year when he was playing striker for SMU by necessity against Wake Forest. And Cooper Flax, the super sub on the side of the Demon Deacons, coming back in after his injury now that we're level.
Kind of feels fitting, doesn't it, that these two teams would be equal with 27 minutes to go?
Kind of does.
We've seen this act before.
Last year it was in the second round of this tournament. A match that went the distance and depends, with Wake Forest coming out on top. Still a lot of time in this one for one of these teams to attempt to go back in front. It has been an entertaining night in Dallas.
We're obviously not privy to the conversations that are held on the benches, but it kind of feels like maybe the Wake Forest coaches were hoping that the Demon Deacons could keep the Mustangs at bay and give Cooper Flax the rest of the night off. We don't know the severity of the shot that he took to the head. He certainly looked like he gave every indication that he was absolutely fine and wanted to stay in the game, or at least come back right in. And you saw him talking to Bobby Muse on the sideline, and Muse said, no, take a seat. They would love to have been able to finish it out without him, I'm sure. But you get into an equal game, number 18 is the guy you want back in the lineup.
Lopez back up. Another throw-in coming for SMU. Lots of substitutions on the side of Wake. You see right there, Tate Lorenz coming in, Jeffrey White, Harvey Saranjan, along with the goal scorer, Cooper Flax. And now Enzo Pinozzo, who's factored in basically to all the scoring for SMU tonight, gets a chance for a throw-in. It's moved along on the ground. Brunet's going to get there, puts it on the ground, and it's cleared out near side. A long run, and Saranjan's not going to be able to get there in time. Oh, because of Enzo Pinozzo, and it's going to be Saranjan. Saranjan called for the foul here.
And the Demon Deacons, of course, are hoping that the whistle would go the other way, suggesting that Enzo Pinozzo got in front of Saranjan and just hit the brakes as if he was boxing out. Problem is, you're allowed to do that.
Here's Clanton Pimentel putting more pressure on and trying to get to the end line. And another corner kick coming up for SMU. They have owned the corner opportunities tonight. Shots for SMU in their favor, 13-6. Each team has 4 shots on goal. Now corners 9-2 in favor of the Mustangs, showing you how much of the ball the Mustangs have had tonight.
A little bit of a different look in front of Mednard. There have been several corners tonight where both teams have been almost entirely packed in front of the net. Now Mednard has some space and everyone's jammed around the 12, now crashing forward.
Salvo takes it out of the air on the volley, but it is blocked right back at him. Landsberg delivers in the direction of Starnes, hits it centrally. Renee can't reach it. Mustangs will keep possession after it was nearly cleared by Ngema. And Escorcia not quite able to keep it in. He's not going to agree with the call, thinking he was able to toe the line with the ball.
Either. The rule is the entire ball has to be over the line.
Absolutely.
And I realize we don't have the same angle that the official does. But to me, that ball is sitting on top of the line at best, if not leaning in. That is absolutely not out.
And SMU wants Danny Escorcia turning the corner with the ball at his feet. He may get another opportunity here. Goes middle to Lopez. One touch out to Escorcia. Leads the team in assists with 6. Mishits that little entry. And Lopez will be called for pulling back the holding mid, Jose Perez. So where will Wake Forest go for the potential go-ahead goal? Of course, Cooper Flax has
Look at
buried
number
the 2
18 and
goals
see what
tonight.
kind of chances you can get with him first.
He was on the ball for a while there. Clanton Pimentel takes it away. Flax all over the place. He's got 9 goals on the season. One of the leaders in the league. Now 3rd in the league behind Steph Sagamonian of SMU, who has 2. Wow, what a breaking lines pass that is. A ball intended for Emmanuel. It is turned away, but SMU able to back it up. Can Lopez track it down? And he's able to right in front of the flag. And this one is going out. And with Escorcia down, we've got a foul, I believe, instead of the ball coming out. And I think that was the call here as Lopez gets in to push away a little bit.
Yeah, Scorsia got absolutely submarined there. And
It's going to be a foul.
If you're
And a
Kevin
free
Hudson,
kick.
obviously you're thrilled to see number 10 up and on his feet.
And again, it's David Ngema who's in there on that, and they love this kid, absolutely love him.
Oh, he's a stud.
And
He's an absolute stud.
at 18 years old, though, you know, and already sitting on a yellow. You got to watch what you do, young man. He knows it. So here's Charles Emile Brunet.
You got to watch what you do, but how many times are you going to look at him and go, yeah, and he's only a freshman.
Here we go. Emile Brunet header. It's there. He did it again. Charles Emile Brunet onto the head of Slade Starnes, who head taps the Demon Deacons D. It's a go-ahead goal with 21 and a half to play.
No goals this season off of set pieces, and in the last few minutes, SMU, Charles Emile Brunet has connected to 2 of them with the 2 strongest targets in the air that the Mustangs have. First Enzo Pinozzo, then Slade Starnes, and all of a sudden, the Mustangs have been trailing, trying to figure out a way to crack this Wake Forest defense. Now they find themselves up a goal with 21:36 remaining.
He's a man known for his defense. Don't shake your kids too hard. You don't want to put them in concussion protocol. Slade Starnes, his first goal of the season.
Couldn't come at a bigger time. And you saw the jubilation on Starnes' face. Two absolutely gorgeous goals. And we'll sit here and we'll talk about Enzo Pinozzo. And obviously with 21 minutes left, this is far from over. 21 minutes is an eternity. But we'll talk about Enzo Pinozzo getting his goal. And we'll talk about Slade Starnes getting his goal. Charles Emile Brunet has just served 2 of the most beautiful assists you'll ever see. Pinpoint accuracy right on the forehead of a couple of teammates.
SMU's first lead tonight. They trailed twice because of Cooper Flax. And Flax is still out there for Wake Forest. Now, can SMU get it done defensively? Or is Cooper Flax going to happen for a 3rd time this evening? Or somebody on that Wake Forest team, they're certainly capable. Flax moves it along to Perez. Perez goes out wide, joining Sullivan. Rather than Sullivan, it's the outside back. In any event, Sullivan will get a chance here. Cooper Flax has that look in his eyes, knowing it could be his last game. His team is not able to recover. They do have time. Escorcia takes it away, though, for Emmanuel. Emmanuel stumbling up the field. It's a play on. They let it go. Trying to get it out wide to Escorcia. Able to keep it in. Emmanuel hunting that ball. And Escribano able to get out of trouble for Wake Forest with 20 minutes to play. Soccer matches don't normally have these many twists and turns, Steve. We've had
Seriously.
enough for half a season tonight.
This has felt like about 6 different games within one, and we've still got 20 minutes to go.
Oh, what a run by Lawrence, taken out by Salvo. No foul given. Salvo, the defensive mid for SMU, getting stuck in. A clean play, and not much consternation from the bench of Wake Forest in this case. Jeffrey White back in. Relentless engine on the right wing. Definitely a dangerous man who has goals in him. Harvey Sarajan up top. He could possibly tie this game. Tate Lorenz has 6 goals this season. That's second on the team. And then, of course, there's Cooper Flax. Got to watch for him, always lurking just outside the 18. Here's the throw in. Comes in short. Jalen Mitchell getting up. It's backed up along the ground, turning the corner. Quick shot to the back post. And David Ngema trying to make a run on that cross from Travis Smith.
And he was 1 step away from being all alone on the back post. This is a beautiful cross that comes across through the mouth of the goal, through about 5 or 6 SMU players, and Ngema 1 step away. If he'd been able to reach it, it was a slam dunk.
Mookie Emmanuel looks like a man that wants to make an impact in this game. Back to Brunet, who already has 2 assists. Brunet looking for the goal. The rebound, it's there. SMU makes it 4-2. Bednard could not handle it. And Milton Lopez poaches. SMU up 4-2.
What a turn of events. We're going to a replay.
We'll see about the replay here.
Mednard,
Lopez loves playing here at SMU.
among the many things that Mednard does well, and I think he's been terrific tonight, he gives up very, very few rebounds. This one is just a blast from Brunet. Mednard turns it away and is helpless, as I think the Deacons are claiming that Lopez got in early. But if it's off the rebound, he can't be.
No. And it was a very quick look. Goal is good, with little doubt.
Mednard looked a little helpless. He did well to lay out and turn the shot away, but there were no black jerseys within shouting distance, and Lopez was there for the slam dunk. You see Brunet, who shoots very well with both feet. That would have made the lower right corner if Mednard hadn't been as tall and long as he is and got stretched out like that.
If the ball comes right at Mednard centrally, he handles it. It doesn't go very far, but the fact he had to stretch out like that makes it much more difficult for him to handle.
Right, at that point, you're just trying to make contact, do anything you can to keep it out of the corner of the net.
18 minutes left. Is it possible we have not seen the last of the Demon Deacons? Pretty good ball in the direction of Jeffrey White, but he's unable to catch up with it. Landsberg plays body blocker there. Wow. What an interesting evening. If you're just joining us, Wake Forest was up 2-1 within the first 15 minutes of this match on two beautiful blasts by their senior captain, Cooper Flax, their All-American from last season. Monty Thomas is coming in for Copeland Berkeley here. A little more juice on the field with 17.5 minutes left. It was 2-1 for the longest, well into the second half. But then a pair of restart goals for SMU. Charles-Emile Brunet putting the first one onto the head of one of his center backs, Enzo Pinozo, and then another that looked like an absolute replay, except it went to Slade Starks to make it 3-2. And SMU catching Wake Forest helpless defensively for the third goal of the second half. This one an easy dunk by Milton Lopez to make it 4-2.
You know, we announced a game between SMU and Central Arkansas when Brunei played for Central Arkansas. And Kevin Hudson said before that game that Central Arkansas's got this guy who's incredibly creative and creates chances for his teammates. We've seen him he's since transferred to SMU, and he has created 2 absolutely beautiful goals for the Mustangs. Best way to beat Brunei is to welcome him on your team, I guess.
Suppose so. Right now, Wake Forest would welcome a quick goal to try to put pressure on the Mustangs. And SMU, which was chasing the game for a while, what does it take to mentally flip, Steve, from, all right, we're chasing the game, we're trying to get forward, trying to get offensive, to, all right, we've got the lead, now we've got to play smart positionally, defensively, and protect this 2-goal lead?
Well, the equalizer by Pinoza was everything, right? Because you're right, it felt like the Mustangs were chasing the game. And then when you suddenly find yourself all even, it gives you an extra jump in your step. It gives you a little more energy. It gives you a little more speed. And then sure enough, a few minutes later, Starnes got what, at the moment at least, is standing up as the game winner. And all that does is it gives you more speed, more energy.
Oh, watch out. A heel kick from Muki Emmanuel. And Bednard had it played perfectly.
You can see a little bit of a smile on Emmanuel's face on the screen after that. If that had gone in, I think the SMU fans in attendance would have absolutely come unglued. But it's just the jolt of energy and enthusiasm and urgency that first the tying and go-ahead goal, it allows the Mustangs to find another gear. And now the Demon Deacons have to respond and do the exact same thing. They have to find a way to shift into that other gear and do it to the tune of 2 goals in the next 14 and a half minutes.
And you can't think 2, you just got to think 1 at a time, obviously. But as they're thinking that, let's set the stage, because this is a Wake Forest team program that has made the NCAA tournament 14 consecutive seasons. Another stoppage. And there will be another booking. And this one on Cooper Flax. And he is getting a straight red to end his career, possibly. Wow. A night that started for Cooper Flax with 2 goals ends in a straight red. Let's see why. He tugged his hair.
Okay, so he grabs Brunei's hair, which, I mean, it's different, right? It's not the jersey. It is part of him. But how often do you see football players with long hair get tackled by their hair? It happens, and I know, different sport, different rules, etc. That is
now
shocking.
It's setting in for Flax, and you know, straight red or not, you got to feel for him. What a career.
You absolutely do. And I refuse to believe that he was reaching out thinking, I'm going to tug this guy's hair and pull him down by the hair. He's reaching for anything he can, right? His team is down a couple of goals on the road, season on the line with 14 minutes left. He's doing anything he can to try to stop Charles-Emile Brunet from taking off and hitting the Jets into the offensive end.
Yes. Here's the only thing, though, and they are going to review to see if the red's going to stand up. Here's the only thing, though. Cooper Flax didn't do a lot of arguing about it. And
No, he didn't.
I see what you're saying, Steve, but I feel like, and it might even get reversed here. Who knows? Maybe it just gets reversed to a yellow. But he didn't do a lot of arguing.
He didn't, and honestly, as long as you and I have been around soccer, I don't know the rule about tugging hair
Nor do I.
different from tugging a jersey.
What kind of card?
It is red.
Same. What a career for Cooper Flax if it does not continue. 21 goals, 2 tonight. For a long time this evening, it looked like he was going to put the Demon Deacons on his back and carry them on to the next round and perhaps the NCAA tournament.
He has been spectacular tonight, and if you're a Wake Forest coach or player or fan, it's heartbreaking to see number 18 go off. And sure, the odds at this point of an NCAA tournament look very long. Now you're on the road, trailing by 2 and playing down a man and playing down the guy who's already scored 2 goals for you. A tall order just got a lot taller for the Demon Deacons. But I'm with you. I mean, I guess it's the right call, but if this is the way the career ends for Cooper Flax, that's a shame. He's a brilliant player.
We were talking about the twists and turns of this game, and I didn't see that one coming.
Right. So what did we say a moment ago? There's been like 6 or 8 different games within one game. I'm with you. That was not on my bingo card tonight either. It's going to be decided by a hair tug red card.
Well, Wake Forest down to 10, now needs 2 goals to get it level and get it into overtime. We'll see.
We talk a lot about how teams that are trying to see out a game when nursing a lead will try to keep the ball moving, make the ball do the work, make the other team chase. And chasing is exhausting, especially when you're losing. And when you're down a man, it feels like you're running a marathon constantly.
Wake Forest, again, just about to talk about it before the red card came. They have made the NCAA tournament 14 straight seasons. Every year under Bobby Muse, and then you go back into the previous administration, and just everything that Wake Forest soccer has done over the years has spelled out consistency and quality. And last year they were right on the brink of not making the tournament. They ran through the ACC championship, made the tournament. Now this year it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do the same. Here comes Mookie Emmanuel, gets inside, a great run. And this one is going to drift off for a corner kick for SMU with 12.5 to play.
And Charles-Emile Brunet was running up the center of the field a few yards behind Emmanuel, and he looked over at his teammate and said, "Hey, I was open." And he was right, because Emmanuel drove at 3 defenders and took a shot when he had number 8 sort of all alone at the top of the 18. Now, would he have scored? We don't know. But there was a better opportunity, or if nothing else, you pull it back, play it back, and keep it in possession. It worked out okay for the Mustangs as they ended up with a corner, though.
Brunet, another chance at a serve, but the Mustangs were offside. 12 minutes left. Brunet has 2 of the most gorgeous serves for goals that you're going to see. Somehow SMU scored 3 in the second half without that guy, Step Sagamonian, who is coming on for the first time in the second half for Milton Lopez.
And not to belabor the point, but you're Wake Forest, you're down a couple of goals, and here comes the guy with 10 goals already, including 1 tonight, and he's been resting for 40 minutes.
Absolutely. Now, one thing for SMU that I do think you have to start thinking about with the 2-goal lead, 12 minutes left, and yes, you got to close it out, but you've got to do it smartly, because tempers will flare for Wake Forest. It is understandable. They are a proud program. They're about to be left out of the NCAA tournament, most likely after this loss. Things happen, and we've seen it from a number of teams over the years. When they are facing elimination, stuff starts happening.
Right.
For the SMU Mustangs, the team likely to advance here, they have to play smart the rest of the way to make sure they have a full complement of players, whether you're going against Stanford or BC on Sunday.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I mean, the last thing, well, first of all, the last thing you want is for anyone to get hurt. But secondly, you're right, the competitiveness is going to come out. This is what these guys have been training for basically year-round, but let's say since the spring season started. And yes, the Demon Deacons are looking at the clock and seeing 11 minutes, potentially 11 minutes left in their season. This is when you pull out the stops and everything is on the board. Anything you can do to try to get a shot, get a goal, and make it a one-goal game is in play. So you're right. The Mustangs in particular have to be smart. That's not to suggest the Demon Deacons are a dirty team. They're not. They're a physical team. They're a hard team to play against, and they're a desperate team, and that is a very dangerous formula.
Perez over the top. Really good ball here. Header toward the goal, and it is played perfectly. What a serve by Perez, but Martin Dominguez makes his biggest stop of the night after Sarajan appeared to make contact.
He did, and you see Sarajan and Starnes both come up holding their heads. He not only got the ball, but there you see the melons clang right in front of the goal. Really quick reaction there by Martin Dominguez. And when you talk to the SMU coaches, whether it's Kevin Hudson or Jaime Ibarra, who coaches the goalkeepers, the first thing they say about Dominguez is he's a great shot stopper, especially from close range. Well, that was about 5 yards out, and he was able to react, hit the deck, and turn it away. Beautiful save by Dominguez.
Not only turn it away, but also hold on to the ball as well and not let it squirt away for a big rebound as well, and an easy dunk.
Yeah, turn it away was the wrong phrase. Deny the goal. How about that?
I would never say you said anything wrong. I was just adding to your point.
No, never.
More numbers joining for Wake Forest in a desperate situation. Great deflection, and Dominguez as it played the whole way. Martin Dominguez able to pick it off the ground after it was flicked on by Vasa Dumar.
And again, no rebound. Twice in about 30 seconds, Dominguez hits the ground, stretches out, and pulls it in under his chest to eliminate any chance of a follow-up by the Demon Deacons. All the Mustangs wanting a handball there, but a throw-in will be just about the same. You see Enzo Pinozzo jogging very slowly to come get the ball from his head coach, Kevin Hudson. The urgency has changed.
If SMU is able to complete this game as the ball goes down low to Clinton Pimentel, out in front, half volley, and did have an issue. I didn't see a flag up.
There was no flag.
No, there must just have been a foul in the box on the way by. I think it was Emmanuel who may have made contact with the defender. If SMU is able to complete this comeback, pick up this win, what does it do for them as they move on? Because an NCAA tournament appearance should be assured after this result. This goes over the goal and out.
The biggest thing, if this result holds up for the next 8:47 and the Mustangs walk away with a win, obviously the result itself is most important, right? You get to advance, play on and advance. But more than that, it shows you can score on set pieces after all, just like they used to do around Dallas. It also shows you can come back from trailing against a very good team like Wake Forest. Make no mistake, Wake Forest, okay, maybe the Deacons don't make it to the NCAA tournament. They are certainly talented enough to be there.
You bet.
And so to come back against any team is difficult, but to do it against a team of the quality of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons is an enormous lift. The victory is most important, but the way in which they might win this game could be almost as important as the score itself.
And after the straight red to Cooper Flax, who had both the goals tonight for Wake Forest, Wake is down to 10. SMU is ready to get some players in. Charles-Emile Brunet call for the foul here. SMU ready to bring in Landon Hickam. They just got Noah Irvin onto the pitch for the first time tonight, and he replaced Clinton Pimentel, who had gone the whole way. There's a restart. This one a little bit overdriven. Starnes straight up into the air, but it's still wrestled for in the box. And chance for Wake Forest to continue to play with it. Another serve in the direction of Sarajan. He has to turn on it to try to keep it in. Does so, but he was offside.
No, I think it's a goal kick, isn't it? Or was it offside?
Excuse me. Let's see. Sarajan was trying to keep it off the line.
Yeah, goal kick.
It is going to be a goal kick. So for SMU, they are able to go into the bench a little bit. Danny Scorsia, who has not come off the field since joining the program this season after 2 games. Getting a well-deserved rest, so does Jalen Mitchell. Matthias Dick is in, 7.5 minutes left. Good ovation for SMU in the process, up 4-2. These substitutions, I think, are key for a multitude of reasons, one of which I mentioned a few moments ago, just in case things get heated.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also, you know, if you don't give up any goals, then it doesn't matter if you score anymore either. And at this point, your primary objective is to keep Wake Forest from getting on the scoreboard again. So now you've got 4 or 5 guys out there with very fresh legs who are able to chase and chase and chase. And this is against, again, a Wake Forest team that's playing 10 against 11. The fatigue is certainly on the side favoring the Mustangs.
That's a great point, Steve. Stoppage is to adjust the clock. It was at 7:05. They want it to be at 7:16.
Now it's at 70 minutes.
That'd be a long time. That'd be plenty of time for a comeback. If I was Wake Forest, I'd be all in on that.
Kevin Hudson might have a different opinion on that decision.
Maybe so. High boot there by Hickam. And yeah, nice spot for a free kick, and it would have been an excellent place to have Flax. However, it will be Jose Perez serving this one.
It's not too far off from where Flax scored his second goal.
No.
Although on the opposite end of the field.
Wow, look at Dominguez get way off of his line. I think Perez thought he had placed it far enough where Dominguez would not be able to touch it. But Dominguez sprints to it, punches it out, and eliminates a Demon Deacon threat in a desperate situation for them.
Emmanuel, frustrated that he wasn't able to run that ball down. Sagamonian laid it off to him and laid it just a little bit too far out in front because there was nothing but about 50 yards of green between Emmanuel and the Wake Forest goal.
And Wake Forest down to 10 after a straight red card to Cooper Flax. Flax tugging on the ponytail of SMU's Charles Emile Brunet, making the comeback attempt even more difficult. Emile Brunet, perhaps the man of the match for SMU, with his 2 assists, one on the game-tying goal and one on the go-ahead goal here in the second half. Emile Brunet chasing it down to the corner. The 2-goal lead. He can afford to do some of this. Great play by Salvo. Feeds it inside. Brunet leaves it behind him. Looking for a joiner. Has Dick. Tries to throw it inside. Knocked straight up into the air. Pretty good serve by Matthias Dick in the direction of Mookie Emmanuel, who's just hanging out offsides. Now he gets back on. Here's the serve in by Dick again. Header over the top. Emmanuel tracks it down. He serves it across. Headed back away by Jeffrey White. And a throw in for SMU with an even 5 minutes left. SMU in a good spot, but it certainly feels like an eternity to them as they try to milk away this clock.
Sure, and Kevin Hudson is a fanatic about seeing his team close out games the right way, and you're right. 5 minutes seems like an eternity. Let me tell you, it feels like more of an eternity for when you're trying to milk the lead rather than when you're trying to catch up. Then it's just not enough time. And if the Mustangs are going to swing the ball back and forth like they did on that last sequence, that's fine because you're wearing out the Wake Forest defense, and in doing so, if you're making Wake play D, then they're not up front threatening Martin Dominguez in the SMU goal.
So Rajan trying to change the point of attack himself, handing off out front. What a drive and a goal! Goal by Nico Rabiu.
The yellow card for Enzo Pinozo.
Nico Rabiu scores his second of the season on a drive from out front, and with 4 minutes left, there is life for Wake Forest on this super strike.
Look at this. This is gorgeous. 3 Wake Forest goals, all from distance, and all of them pinpoint accurate shots into the corner. And here you see, oh, you get a shove on Dominguez. Oh, but before that, it was a wrestling match with Sarajan trying to get the ball out of the net, and Enzo Pinozzo jockeying for space.
So Wake Forest down to 10, cuts the lead in half. This has been an unbelievable evening. I mean, the twists and turns we have seen have been unfathomable. Is there another improbable comeback in Wake Forest tonight? They did it last year to SMU, down 2 goals in the second half, coming back to tie it, take it to overtime. Now, Luki Emmanuel had 2 hands on Perez. Perez went down. Perez wants to be seen for an injury here. Emmanuel being talked to.
Yeah, Perez went down like a tree. He was, I don't blame him. He was trying to draw a whistle.
You bet.
Now you have more size coming in as well as Ryan Bilal checks in. All right, Luki Emmanuel did get his hands up, and he extended them a little bit. But there's not a player on either team that gets knocked over by that shove.
Ball into the box. Slade Starnes kicks it away. Still in play, however, as Starnes pops back up to his feet. Ball in the direction of Ryan Bilal, who scored the equalizer last season for Wake Forest in the first round of the ACC Championship. The Demon Deacons 3 minutes left and a goal away from forcing overtime. And they'll have a corner as well with a little over 3 minutes left. The prayer is not done for the Demon Deacons. Lawrence strikes it in. Header to the backside. Who was it last touched by? Corner. It's
corner.
off of SMU. 2:45 to play. The door is ajar. Can Wake Forest get it done again? This time down to 10 men. Player joining. Deflected ball inside, and it's in! Flag is down! The game is tied! It's 4-all! You'd never
And
believe
it's
it!
Bilal again.
Wake Forest has done it with 10 on the field. 2 goals.
2 goals down a man on the road with your season on the line.
Driving into the 6, right on the foot of Bilal. SMU was not set up well for the corner kick in the reposition. And Ryan Bilal, who had the game-tying goal last year at SMU to force overtime, scores his second of the year, does so in the 88th minute. Down a man. A brand new ball game in Dallas again.
After the first 2 goals of this game, we talked about how these teams would respond. And we basically said, okay, take a deep breath. Now you've got an 85-minute game. Now you got a 2-minute game.
And maybe more than that, of course. We do have overtime in the championship round. This place is stunned.
I think that includes the announcers.
Hickam. 2 minutes left. SMU now more on the front foot after sitting back for the last few moments. Matthias Dick up a man to the back post. Hickam is there. Header steered away. Great save by Menard. It'll be a corner.
Save of the night by Jonah Mednard. Hickam climbs the ladder for what would have been a spectacular goal. And then how about the maturity of the freshman to go grab the ball and set up this corner quickly? He knows what's on the clock.
This one knocked out, and it's a throw. Great job to get out there with his body by Amani Thomas. 1:12 to play. Pinozo coming out to throw it in. SMU up a man as Wake Forest has made the comeback. Now can SMU pull the victory out late? Good ball on the ground. It's in! SMU does it again!
Hickam. That's Landon Hickam.
First goal of his career with less than a minute to play. 5-4, SMU.
And Martin Dominguez runs about 100 yards to come congratulate. Dominguez goes 100 yards for Landon Hickam. Talk about what a statement, what an incredible way to score your first goal. And you see the look on his face. He's the one who a moment ago grabbed the ball after that spectacular save by Jonah Mednard. He knew what was on the clock. He knew how little time there was. He is not playing like a freshman. All year, Kevin Hudson has said we need to get more time for Landon Hickam. Problem is he plays behind some very talented older players, and it's a little bit of a crowd in the midfield. Spectacular go-ahead goal. Tell me you came to Washburn Soccer and Track Stadium tonight expecting to see 9 goals in regulation.
I did not.
And Bobby Muse is livid again. I don't know what it's about. I mean, we certainly can't read his lips or hear him from here.
Yellow card is being shown to the SMU bench, looking in the direction of Coach King. One of the assistants for SMU. The Mustangs don't care as long as it results in a win. Meanwhile, if we get a full shot of the field, Wake Forest is set up almost like an onside kick in football here.
And you got to assume that Jonah Mednard's going to join them quickly.
They're going to look for a serve in as soon as they can into the box to try to get the tying goal. The ball gets nicked away, 40 seconds left. It is not over after the SMU go-ahead goal. At the top. And just missing on that one. SMU's able to knock it away with 30 seconds left. It looked like Rabiu was about to be able to run onto one, but he pulled up thinking there was somebody next to him. Now the keeper joining as well, Mednard. The serve into the box gets knocked back away. 15 seconds left. Here's one over the top, looking for the tie. Knocked away with 9 seconds left. Out to the corner. Starting. Hickam gets rid of it. He knows it's over. With 3 seconds left, with 2. The champs are dethroned. The SMU Mustangs somehow win it 5-4.